Well, hello and welcome once again to Professional Insights, brought to you by the National Referral Network. This is where we talk to professionals who offer up their expertise and insights for the benefit of everyone. Today on the hot seat is Kevin Petit. Kevin, I got to say, you don't look petite. I don't. It's like your name does. The name doesn't match the picture. You look like you're kind of a baller.
Yeah, I am, but it is what it is.
That's okay. Kevin is in which part? You're in Florida, and you're a benefits broker in Florida. But which part of Florida are you in?
I'm in the Fort Myers area.
Okay, all right. So that would be. I'm trying to get the geography right. The western
Southwest.
part of the state,
Yeah,
right?
Southwest.
Okay. Um, and Kevin, you specialize in mostly in employee benefits, but primarily health insurance. Is that correct?
Correct. Group health and individual health care.
Okay. And that is not only is it one of the biggest line items that small businesses deal with, but it's an ever changing landscape. We all know that healthcare is expensive, and in many areas getting more so. And there's a lot of misunderstanding about how to use it effectively, what it should cover, all kinds of changes are happening. Um, so let me sort of begin at the beginning. If somebody is wanting to either change health plans, okay, or evaluate their current health plan, what kinds of questions should they be asking?
First one they should ask is provider network. How strong and how large is the provider network? Um, that would be the first place they should go to. No matter how much it's cost, the network is really deciding on the use of it.
Okay. And so first and foremost, is my doctor that I've been going to since I was a kid part of the network, stuff like that?
Doctor, hospital, correct.
Okay. And you and I were talking beforehand. That's a changing landscape in and of itself. These doctor networks are shrinking. Uh, can you tell us why that is?
Doctor networks are shrinking for a few reasons, but one big reason really is they're overloaded on patients. And between the overloaded on patients and then the cost of doing business is really affecting them. So they
Okay.
have to make the right decision for their business as well as for the patients.
Okay. And when you're working with someone, either maintaining their current health plan or helping them maybe shop for a new one, what kinds of things are you telling them to pay attention to, and what are you paying attention to on their behalf?
So we're kind of unique in the industry. We have the largest doctor hospital network in the United States. But not only that, we're the largest doctor hospital in the United States. You can add your doctor or hospital if it's not in our network. So
Okay.
we're reassuring them that every every member that comes on the books will be able to go to their preferred doctor of their choice.
And you're doing that how? By pairing them with the right carrier? How does that work?
No, our network is the PHCS network, which is the largest network already in place.
So your firm is plugged into the PHCS network.
Plugged into that. But if your doctor hospital is not in it, we make that contact to that doctor and hospital so you can still use the preferred doctor hospital.
So if I'm correct me if I'm wrong, but you're just saying you can build a health insurance option that allows for the continuation of the kind of access people have become accustomed to.
Correct.
Okay, and that is unique. And so, what kinds of benefits, as we talked about this before, are getting removed from health plans? I mean, how are health plans themselves changing, and how can your firm help build a bridge between where we were and where we are?
So health plans have been the same since 1975. If you want a higher deductible and copay, you'll get a lower premium.
Right.
If you want a lower deductible, lower copay, you get a higher premium. It's a scale that will never change. It just keeps
And,
going back and forth.
right. And in other words, to the extent you're willing to self-insure some of the benefit, you pay a lower premium to the insurance company. Sure.
We like to say sacrifice the benefits you possibly should be using because on the front end, preventive care is just as important or immediate care actually keeps the cost down for that long-term critical illness that might happen.
Okay. All right. And so, what kinds of changes and benefits are you seeing in healthcare now? Because there are some that are rather they're rather substantial.
They are. We're seeing hospitals dropping from plans just because of cost of doing business. Telehealth is getting a little bit more involved in the industry.
Mhm.
Um, there's a lot of moving parts, but basically the big boxes out there can't change how they do business. It's still a provider network driven plan.
Okay. And aren't there, you were saying that in some cases plans are dropping things that are benefits, right? They're not covering certain procedures that they
They're
used
not
to cover, like
covering certain
MRIs. Yeah.
procedures, right? They're not covering certain procedures just for the costs associated with those
Right.
procedures, or it's on the back of the actual member with their deductible, and deductibles are going up and up and up more and more.
Mhm.
So let's use MRI as an example, which is a very important service for a patient. Um, you'll have to make that choice. Do I pay 500, 600, 800, $900 out of pocket for the MRI? Is it that important, or do I just bypass it?
Okay.
And that's something we don't want to happen. We want the MRI to happen.
And since most people get their health insurance through their employer, are most people walking around thinking that stuff like MRI and the stuff that no longer is covered still is covered because they're just not aware of it?
Well, you're not thinking about your healthcare until you're actually using it. So unless you went through a life-changing experience, you know how your healthcare plan works. But until that time, that experience, you won't know how your health plan works. So all you're looking at is your monthly premium coming out of your paycheck every month, not knowing what it covers.
Okay. So, blunt question here. What are you going to save employers from? How
We're
are
going to
you
save,
going to?
yeah,
Yeah.
we're going to save them through a few things. One is we're going to assure them that Doctor Hospital Network will always be the largest for them, meaning that there's no change to the lifestyle of the employee. So the employee's life won't change just because you change plans. The second thing is our premiums on average are 30 to 46% less than everybody else in the marketplace. And the reason why we can do that is we figured out how to eliminate waste and excess costs to the healthcare administration part of the plan.
Okay. So you're plugged into not only the network, but carriers to eliminate that and bring that cost down.
Correct. We take advantage of our concierge doctor network. We actually talk to the patient prior to the plan working to find out what type of uh, lifestyle they have, family history, those type of things, and to get a preventive care plan put in place for them so the critical illness doesn't actually happen.
So are you actually educating the employee population about how to use the plan so they don't get surprised?
Correct.
Okay. And are you telling them things like, well, look, if you're going to, undergo a major procedure, whatever it is, you might want to find out what's covered first?
Correct. So we actually have a concierge doctor is assigned to every patient. This concierge doctor will actually starts the process for you, makes the phone calls to the doctors and specialists that you need, and takes care of the bill prior to you actually getting the services rendered.
Okay, now you're making me wish I lived in Florida, but that aside, because we don't have that out here in California.
Yes, you do. We're nationwide.
Okay.
We're in
So
all
you
50 states.
you are in okay, that was another thing. Yeah, okay, so you're in all 50 states. So you can work with employers really anywhere, and they can get this, they can plug into all this where not only do they get a plan that's potentially less expensive, okay? And I would imagine that happens on a case-by-case basis. Is that correct?
We haven't found anybody yet
Okay, all right.
that are not less expensive and more robust.
Okay. So so you do have, again, I joked with you in the beginning that you had sort of a, I don't know, a pugilistic quality to you, but you really do, at least in this realm, right? You're willing to look at anybody's plan to see if you can improve it.
The whole idea is to prove a plan without jeopardizing the benefits, making the benefits better. Anybody
Okay.
can come with a cost-effective plan, but can you come with a cost-effective plan and not change the benefits for the worse?
Okay.
Like I said before, it's a sliding scale. You want to lower your premiums you got to give something back in the actual plan.
Okay. All right. And are there particular group sizes that you specialize in, or is it, anywhere from 2 people on up to 200, or what's your sweet spot?
We can go from 1 employee all the way up to 5,000 employees. Our sweet spot really is the small to mid-sized companies for one reason, and the actual small companies. So small, 1 to 4, 5 to 55, 5 to 60, and up to 100. Really, is a sweet spot because they're the ones that get hurt the most when the cost of the
Okay.
plans.
All right. So just to summarize, to recap or summarize, you got the ability to potentially drive down premium. I say potentially because I can't elude guarantees or assurances here, but you potentially drive down premiums, improve access to care via the larger doctor networks, and also give participants a concierge that will help them figure all this stuff out so they don't have to. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Well, ain't that the trifecta right there? So we know what you do. This is put on by the National Referral Network. This interaction. How does just as we close, how does your membership of the National Referral Network and having this resource pool of other professionals help you be better at what you do?
So there's other services that are needed in the small employer, mid-sized employer environment. I'm an expert at healthcare, and that's what I want to be an expert in. But there's other services that these employers need, that I have experts that are partnered with me that actually I can refer to the actual owner. Let's say financial planning or life insurance or whatever the case may be, based on that employer's need at that particular time.
Mhm.
So taking advantage of the National Referral Network is actually a big advantage for us, because we're a one-stop shop now for that employer where they don't need to actually vent people to come visit them and see, what type of services that they need to take advantage of.
Okay. So you've got a resource pool you can plug into. You have members of the network, or us and other people helping connect those dots and making those connections, so you can feel comfortable and at ease with who you refer to.
Absolutely. The most important thing is if you're going to refer somebody, there has to be a lot of trust.
There has to be a lot of trust.
So the National Referral Network provides that trust, so I could pass that on to that client.
Okay. Wow, that's great. Well, we thank you for giving us a few minutes here this morning. We will be back here next week, same time, same station. We do these with professionals every week, so that we can all learn something. And until we see you all again, thank you all for being here, and we'll see you next time.